And so God says this: Jesus is the exact image. He is of utmost importance in terms of being the firstborn. Thirdly, he has been given ultimate authority. And fourthly, he is the eternal creator. But there's more. Look at what it says at the end of verse 17 there. He goes on and he says this, that not only is he before all things, i.e. he has all authority, but it says that in him all things hold together. This is phenomenal. This is saying that Jesus is the sustainer of the entire universe. And basically, you've been on a team at work, or you've been in a group setting, or you've been on a sports team. You said, man, he's the glue. He's the glue that holds it all together. I mean, if he wasn't here, the whole thing would fall apart, right? Well, that's what it's saying. Jesus is the glue. But this is talking quite literally. This is talking chemically. This is talking biologically. This is talking of astronomy and all science. I'm talking about that gravity and electromagnetic force and chemistry and everything that holds molecules together, everything that holds everything on the earth, everything that holds planets in its orbit, everything would just absolutely come apart at its seams. The reason why that it's all holding together, the reason why it all fits together and works together, and our lives are sustained here on planet Earth and anywhere in the universe, is because of Jesus. That's what this is saying there. He is the universal sustainer. He is the one that allows life to keep going as we know it. There would be no water cycle. There would be no photosynthesis. There would be no reproduction. There would be nothing in the scientific realm, in the animal kingdom, anywhere without Jesus. And then in verse 18, he goes on and he gets personal with us. And he says he is also the head of the body, the church. And he is the firstborn from the dead. And it talks about that once again as being preeminent, firstborn from the dead. And so the idea is it's bringing up this idea of firstborn in terms of bringing this army and the people who he's rescued back to his kingdom that it's already mentioned in the previous verses. But I want to go to this idea of him being head of the church. And I want to say this, all throughout the New Testament, in Ephesians, in Philippians, in Colossians, and all these different Corinthians, Paul talks about and uses this metaphor of the church, the local church, and the universal church as being a body, a human body. And when they talk about this metaphor, it talks about that, hey, I might be a hand, you might be a foot, we're all different parts of the body. But it always says this, the head is Christ. And that word head literally means source or origin. In other words, the head is the one that's thinking, that's making everybody else move in a certain way. The head has the plan. The head has where we're going. The head has what we're doing. The head has all authority because it's the thing that's the most important. If there's no head, there is no body. And over in Ephesians chapter 1, we read this, that he has put everything under his feet and given him all authority and everything in the church. And it talks about that the church is his possession. He owns the church. Jesus owns the church. So the idea is he is the chief of the church. He's the chief shepherd. He's the leader of every church. He is the head. And so therefore, in a practical kind of way, who is the head of any church? All right? Who is the head of any church? Who's the head of this church? Not me, Jesus. You ride down the street and you see all these names on church signs and you see things on the website, lead pastor, senior pastor, whatever, the Pope, head of the Catholic Church. Let me tell you something. If there are real believers in Jesus Christ gathered together, if there is an organism all over the world called the church, then you know who's in charge? Jesus. And we are all just playing our parts, using our gifts in certain ways to serve him. Now, pastors have certain leadership gifts or teaching gifts or pastor gifts that they are in a specific role because of that gifting. But the fact of the matter is nobody is in charge of the church other than Jesus. Everybody else is just serving. But he is the head of the church.